right, we made it kind of. Spring training is here. Pitchers and catchers will report in hours to Peoria for the Padres. And then we're just about a week away from spring training games, Cactus League games against the Dodgers in late February. And we're just over a month away from the Padres in Korea, the Seoul Series, March 20th and 21st in Korea against the LA Dodgers. John and Jim with you. It is a Saturday night edition of the wrap-up show presented by Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. We'll be with you for the next hour. There's a lot to get into, whether it's the incomplete roster of the Padres, their payroll for 2024, moves that may or may not occur in the days and weeks ahead. And then we look ahead to Cactus League action. And then again, the Padres leaving for Korea. I think on March 14th, they will leave for Korea. So, Jim, the Super Bowl's tomorrow. I know you're gearing up for the Super Bowl, but we also have pitchers and catchers reporting tomorrow.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, Padres. When will we get all of the B-roll fitted footage of pitchers and catchers walking from their trucks or their cars into the Padres complex in Peoria?
Honestly,
I'm going to say around I'll probably say around 10-ish.
Yeah, if not early. They get their work in, especially day one with the Super Bowl being 3:30 Pacific. They're getting their work in early. It's like a 9 to noon type day is my guess. It's like when you get when they give you your assignments for school, but you don't really have class. They just give you the syllabus. It's kind of like a syllabus day. You throw a little bit and then you get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. So not much happening, but they still be there. And actually, they're already there. Like they're already in Arizona. They've already got into their places. I'm sure some position players are there as well. But yeah, I mean, baseball's pretty much almost here. It's going to be after the game tomorrow night. You're going to get a bunch of people just tweeting out, well, now baseball or what's the baseball you're next, or like baseball you're on deck or something just weird like that.
Yeah, and definitely. After the game, you're saying tomorrow? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's baseball time. Like, no shit.
Right.
like it's the most annoying tweet ever. But anyway, yeah, it's, the Jeff Sanders tweet today talking about the roster and then the payroll. He didn't mention the CBT because that's the most important part of it. The CBT is the most important part. The payroll, it's not, 148. Yes, we can talk about that, but it's the CBT number that they care about more. And that's the most important thing that they're trying to stay under. But that was the biggest thing I think that happened, at least today with the Padres, right? Just seeing that number and seeing the roster, and you're like, oh.
To your point, to follow up on that point, for people that missed it, the Padres payroll entering spring training, entering tomorrow, is $148 million. This is down over $100 million from last year and is now below league average. Now they're 13th, but in terms of average spend, they're just below league average. League average is 12th, and they're just below league average. They've taken $100 million off their payroll. Now, this is not necessarily their finalized payroll, and there's dead money in there, to your point, which is going to impact their CBT number overall. But their actual payroll committed to the 26-man roster for next year is $148 million. I think it was 256 or 253 a year ago. So it's 105-ish million less, Jim, than it was a year ago, which is an incredible number. It's not to say it's going to come in fully 100 under, but it's going to come in 80 under at least. And that's unbelievable. It's not like it's wholesale change, but you take Soto, Snell, and Hader away, and you've taken $100 million away, and there's more, but you've taken $100 million away from what they spent last year. That's amazing.
Now, here's the thing about it. Okay. Like you said, all that $148 million right now to the 26-man active roster. It's a little misleading.
Yep.
Because of that CBT number. All right. Yep. You're only paying Manny $13 million next year and Tatis $11 million this year. I didn't mean next year. I meant this year.
Right.
Their AAV, both of those guys, are 30 plus. Okay. So if 11 and 13, that's 24. All right. If both those guys, I think Tatis is a straight 30, right?
Yeah, or wasn't it like 27? Dude, it was like 14 to 340 divided by 14. It's like 27 or something.
Okay, let's say fine, 27, 28. All
Out
right.
of 31 or something.
Machado?
Yeah, it's like 31.
Yeah. So that's what? 18 plus another what? Third I can't do math.
Yeah,
16.
you're saying that they actually it's the AAV number is nowhere near their actual payroll allocation, is what you're saying.
It's like the Otani thing. He's getting paid
Yeah,
$2 million this year, but his AAV is 46. That goes against the CBT.
correct.
Same thing applies here. I'm trying to like tell people and make like
Yep.
because some are saying, "Oh my gosh, they have 50 million to spend." No,
No,
they
they
don't,
don't. Right.
because Manny's making 13 this year because everything is backloaded, and
Mhm.
Tatis is making 11 this year. The only player that's really making their actual AAV is Xander Bogaerts, maybe $1 million under, but still
Mhm.
25 million for Xander this year, highest paid player on the roster for this upcoming season. Like that's how
Mhm.
much money he's getting paid this year. So
Who's
the
making what? Run through the top like 7. So Xander 25 in terms of what they're actually earning, not AAV.
correct. What they're earning salaries
Yeah.
this year.
Mhm.
Xander's the top of the list at 25 million, followed by Joe Musgrove at 20,
Mhm.
followed by Yu Darvish at 16, followed by Manny Machado at 13, then Fernando at 11, and
Okay.
Robert Suarez is at 10. No
That's
one is
95.
above no one is above $8 million because that's Hassan Kim, or Hassan Kim's as 8 million.
Okay. So, yeah, your point's valid because the 148 is a little misleading because the AAV is what matters for the
CB,
CBT tax. So
correct.
you're right. They don't have 50, but we all agree they probably still have in the neighborhood of 20, which doesn't mean they're going to use it because they might want to use some once the season begins and maybe they get to the trade deadline. They want to add $8 million in payroll or $10 million. So still they're under it. We don't know the exact number. Is it 10 under? Is it 20 under? I think it's closer to 20 than it is 10.
Mhm.
But we talked about it, I think, Friday on John and Jim, like what Dennis Lynn had AJ Preller quoted as saying, which is like, we're not making a move to make a move. And we will give players opportunities in camp. And I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. He told Dennis Lynn that yesterday. It was in the Athletic yesterday. We're not going to make a move to make a move. Guys are going to get opportunities. Jackson Merrill is going to be playing in the infield and the outfield this spring. And there are other examples of guys that are compete for rotation spots, bullpen spots, bench spots, and opportunities in maybe left or center field. Not to say they're not going to make a move. I do think they'll make a move. I think there could be a trade. I think they could make a move. But I mean, I'm not overly confident that like we're waiting for the second shoe to drop. Like I feel like this is kind of what you're looking at, maybe with the addition of Jerks and Profar or some back end rotation piece that isn't going to completely wow you.
Yeah, I feel like the roster you have now, the main big pieces of it, that's what this team's going to be dealing
Mm-hmm.
with this year. Like I don't at this point in time, I don't see a major move happening. I maybe seen like a kind of hopefully round out the edges type of move, but other than that, I don't think, like you said, you're going to be seeing any big time, trades for a starting rotation piece or outfield spot. Like it does feel like the closer we are to the season starting, with spring training starting tomorrow, at least pitchers and catchers reporting. Their goal for this year is, one, get the CBT under control, and two, give as many young guys opportunities as it possibly can. See what happens.
Spot on. That's what it's going to be.
And it's not going to be something that fans are going to be happy with on initial glance. I don't think, because I just I'm listening to Preller speak after they traded Juan Soto, talking about how they were going to use that money to bolster the team, and he hasn't done anything. I mean, nothing. They spent $15 million in free agency so far, total 15. And the whole reason that
15.
the
Wow.
whole reason you explained to fans why you're trading Juan Soto is to use that money you were, quote, saving, to put it back into the roster to help the, fill needs that you had. Did you do that? I mean, you kind of did a little bit of it in the Juan Soto trade, but in that Juan Soto trade, you created more issues because you don't have a left fielder or a center fielder.
Man, this is such a good point from Mark. By the way, guys, if you're here, please subscribe. I mean, the season is here. We've got year-round content for Padres fans. Subscribe, smash the like button for us. You can follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Appreciate your super chats. We get to all those. It's a great way to support our work, and we appreciate your memberships. You can get emojis and badges. Yeah, I mean, this is fair from Mark. It feels like they kind of go with whatever direction the wind is blowing, Jim. It's like, hey, we're not going to make a move to make a move. But they did last year at the winter meetings. The Bogarts move. It was a massive move, but it was like, did you need to make that move? And then the Cronenworth move in terms of the extension. Did you need to make that move? It's like the organization's plans have completely changed within 1 year. And I think a lot of it has to do with the TV deal. And I think some of it has to do with Peter Seidler. And I think some of it has to do with massively missing the mark last year, like missing the postseason, which cost them tens of millions of dollars. I don't know how many, but tens. So I think that combination is like, hey, we're changing our ways, at least for now, and then we'll reset. We'll see what it looks like in 2025. But that's a good point from Mark.
I mean, let's be honest here. Any competent team that missed that badly last year with spending money and performance and drama, everybody would have been fired. Like, it's not this. Let's be real here. A competent organization would have fired everybody. Pretty simple. I mean, that can't happen again. No one gets second chances after that type of misstep last year, and it wasn't the first misstep. Okay, it's like the fifth. So, let's just get that out of the way. The no one like Preller, and I get it. Cool. You got a top-rated farm system again. You got a bunch of good talent in there. Not saying you have not done a good job there, because you actually have. But at the major league level, it's been an absolute disaster. And so now they're going to have to be cleaning up their own messes. Plain and simple. I mean, they went in the kitchen. They fucked it all up. And they burnt. I mean, they overcooked the meat. There's, things were flying on the floor. They dropped the milk. Like the kitchen is a disaster, and now they have to clean it up. They were given the opportunity. AJ Preller was given the opportunity to clean up his own mess. So this is him cleaning up his own mess by doing nothing, and when I say doing nothing, I mean making sure you're at a point where the money in the books look good. But because you have to do that first, that's the most important thing. You can't do anything else. Like once you clean up the kitchen, he's not allowed to go cook again. He has to wait until he goes back to the grocery store and whatever. Like, you got to wait before he can do anything else going forward. And because of that, you're going to see what you see here, which is they didn't fill many needs this offseason.
No, I mean, you're right. It was a need-based Soto trade, which I don't love on its face. Now, we'll see. I don't love trading a player of Soto's caliber to fill your needs. I like trading a player of Soto's caliber. Well, I don't like trading a player of Soto's caliber. But if I'm going to trade him, I want max return, highest possible ceiling, regardless of position. I don't think they did that. I think they got a very capable starter right now, Michael King, who they have under control for 2 years. I think they have a very high ceiling prospect starter in Drew Thorpe. And I think beyond that, they got some pieces for their bullpen and a backup catcher. But
it's a TBD. It's a TBD.
Yeah, I think from a ceiling perspective, they probably could have done better. From a needs perspective, I think they did fine. I'm just not making that trade for a needs perspective. But then you talk about what they've done this offseason, and they've been very cautious. And then you see some of these names that they're getting tied to. For example, Kevin wrote today. Kevin Acey writes in the UT today that they have interest in Noah Syndergaard. And that at that point, I would rather just start Matt Waldron, because you're talking about a guy that's oft injured, that throws no innings, that has had no success. Like, if you're going to sign Noah Syndergaard, do not sign him, and just find someone in your organization that can have a better than 6.5 ERA and throw 88 innings. Like, if you've been so cautious, this isn't the time when you've, like, to your point, you've walked through Target and you've only spent $30. Don't go buy the 65-inch TV just because it's $299. Just go to the cash register. Why would you spend whatever it would cost? I don't even know what it would cost for Syndergaard, but why would you overpay for some completely unreliable waste of money half-season starter? And I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but all these names, Jim. I mean, some are better than others. I think like a Lorenzen is better than a Lauer. I think a Lorenzen's better than a Syndergaard. I think a Ryu is better than a Syndergaard. But like Syndergaard's like, to what purpose would you sign Noah Syndergaard?
It literally would make no sense. It's the dumbest.
None.
It's so stupid. If you sign Noah Syndergaard, like it's just a waste of money.
Yeah, it seems like it.
It's another contract that AJ Preller would sign somebody to. That'd be a waste of money. Like you've done that enough in your career here, buddy. Stop. And that's why it's almost like just go with the young guys. Screw it. Just see what you got. I mean, it might just blow up in your face, but it's better than spending $5-6 million on Noah Syndergaard for a year, whatever the case. I don't even know how much he would get. Like
maybe even more. I don't know, 7, 6, yeah, somewhere in there.
But it's like, hey man, it's one of those things where if you're gonna go down with the ship, like the captain's always gonna go down with the ship,
right?
And
you would think
for Preller, his prized possessions, what he cares about most is the farm. So if you're going down, go down your way, playing your players that you drafted, your players you signed internationally, your players that you traded for in the system. Like, if you're going to go down with the ship, do it your way. And if your way is playing a bunch of unproven young guys, potentially way too soon, then do it and see what happens. And if it crashes and burns, then you're gone. And if it succeeds, then that's awesome. But like, just do it. It's kind of one of those things where we talked about, hey, should they sign Tommy Pham? Should they trade for this guy? Like, you know what? Screw it. Just play your young guys. All right. And see what happens. Do I like it? No. Do you like it? No. Are a lot of fans probably like a little bit excited for it? Yeah. But I think a lot of fans are also being like, what? Jackson Merrill's in left field on opening day? Huh?
Right. By the way, is the graphic showing up properly for you on YouTube? Can you look at the graphic? I'm pretty sure I uploaded it. But when I go to YouTube, it's just showing like the wrap-up show, like background graphic. See what you say.
What'd you do?
Did I do it wrong? I mean, I've done that 1,000 times.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Did I do it wrong?
Yeah.
Why is it not in there? Okay, you do that. Well, can we just we're going to take a side. What's the thing? We're going to just give us a moment here. Okay, so you're going to get that going. Actually, okay, while we have a moment, why don't we do this? We'll get back to the chat in a moment. I do want to thank our title sponsor here on the wrap-up show. So let's do that right now. Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. We can't do this without your support, whether you're here live or on replay. Maybe you're watching this Saturday night. Maybe you're watching it Sunday with pitchers and catchers reporting. We can't do this without your support. We can't do it without our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz. We've been telling San Diegans, we've been telling Padres fans all about Mark for years now. He is a great insurance agent. You can take that from us. I've got a homeowner's, earthquake, and life insurance policy through Mark. You can see his website on the screen right now. If you click the link in the description down below, you can get to Mark's website. You can get free quotes online. Take it from us. He's a great insurance agent. I had to file a claim in 2022. He saved us thousands of dollars, dozens of hours of time, whatever your needs are, auto, home, renter's life, earthquake insurance, whatever it is. Mark can save you $750 or more just by switching your insurance. If you ever have to file a claim, he's going to save you so much time and money. He's a lifelong Padres fan, a native San Diegan, a huge supporter of our work. If you are in Southern California, if you have any insurance needs, before you renew your insurance policy, get in contact with a great insurance agent with great service communication, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, all his information is on the ticker below. mnimitz@farmersagent.com is his email address. So when you reach out to our buddy Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap-Up Show sent you.
Also, real quick, our friends at FOCO, okay?
Oh.
The season is here. They sent this to me literally today. I took pictures and sent it to Jim this morning. Take a look at some new stuff from FOCO as you get ready for the Padres season. You can click the link pinned at the top of the chat or in the description down below. Maybe you want to gear up for the season. Okay. I mean, come on. Floral with flamingos, Padres, you can't go wrong. I mean, you could, but you're not going wrong here. If they sign Syndergaard and he walks in day one with this, I'll forgive the signing. Okay, consider that. Okay, so we have that.
It's going to be an all-star if he does that.
We also have this, Jim. We have the Fernando Tatis Jr. big head bobblehead. Now you can tell
massive head.
Look at this. It's huge. Look at how big this thing is. This thing's unbelievable.
It's like Drake.
You can tell our viewers, Jim, a little bit about the quality of these bobbleheads from Foco, because you've had them before. We even had a partnership with them. But these things are, I mean, they're unbelievable in terms of the detail.
Yes. Foco bobbleheads are awesome. I actually have a Foco right here.
Yes.
Right there.
And then look at that.
I got a Foco bobblehead right here.
And then they also sent this as if we're still in college or something, or maybe we're going back, but I think I'll give it to Jones. Look at this. San Diego Padres book bag. How cool is this thing? Okay, officially licensed from our friends at Foco. Isn't that cool? It's pretty dope. Kristen thought it was super cool. So anyway, if you want to gear up for the season, click the link pinned at the top of the chat or the link in the description down below. Our friends at Foco are excited for the upcoming 2024 season. We're excited to be back with them here on the wrap-up show as well. So I don't expect there to be, I mean, I read Dennis, as did you, on Friday, and it didn't sound like anything was imminent related to either a trade or a signing with the Padres. Not to say that nothing is going to occur, but it didn't sound like anything was imminent with the Padres. So I'm not now like changing my tune now that spring training is kicking off. Like, oh, we're going to see a flurry of moves. I think at some point they'll need to make decisions because they have 36 players on their 40-man roster, so they can elevate players in their system to the 40-man roster. But like, I don't expect next week to really change the quietness of the last month. Do you?
No. The noise around the team will get louder and louder if you see some of these guys that are fighting for a job for the big league level not have good springs. I mean, if Jackson Merrill has a bad spring, like, where do you go from there? You know, if you are going into spring training with Jackson Merrill slotted to be on this major league opening day roster and playing a position of need that he's never played before, and he has a bad spring, then what do you do? You know, are you gonna start a guy at the major league level this young at a position he's never played before after having a bad spring training? You know, are you going to have a guy like Matt Waldron or Pedro Avila start the season in the rotation if they have a bad spring? What if one of those guys get hurt? Then what? You know, like there's a lot of things that have to still happen here before the opening day. And I feel I'm a little worried that Preller is, you know, in that mode, because we've heard Preller say before, I'm not going to just make a move to make a move. Yep. And usually that always the end game for that is him not making a move.
Right.
So like if on their you know, chalkboard or whatever, and they have all the players and everything slotted there, and they have like a Jackson Merrill and a Jacob Marcy or a Graham Pauley and a Jackson Merrill, you know, slotted to be on this opening day roster in the outfield or the DA, whatever. I don't know. And they have bad springs, then what?
That's a really good point. I mean, what happens if you have injuries in spring? I mean, at some point,
a lot of things here.
I think they're too thin to just try to, like, okay, this is basically like the poker analogy would be this. You're playing for like 1 or 2 cards on the river. Like, it's possible to win the hand. And they have a better than like 2% or 4% or 6% chance of like making this thing work. But I don't think it's like overly likely that without making a move, they've put themselves in a situation where they can like feel good about it going into the year and like that they're going to win 86, 87, 88 games. Like, they're going to need a lot of things to work. The core to hit, young players to produce, health to be intact. You know, like they're going to be counting on a lot of things. And maybe that is what they're going to do. They're going to like you always say, like, hope is not the greatest strategy. It seems like right now you're just kind of hoping that your core produces, you get production out of your young players, and you stay healthy. I mean, that sounds great, but I feel like all 30 teams in baseball have a similar strategy. Now, to Richard's point, and thank you, Richard, for the super chat. I mean, there's a real core here. He says, Dodger fan here still have quality players on the roster, and they do. AJ needs to fill the holes with hungry blue-collar grinders. So bring on 2024. The NOS will be a meat grinder. Have fun tomorrow, Jim. I think he's talking about pitchers and catchers reporting.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a fair point. I mean, they have more quality players than, at least 15 teams in baseball, if not more than that, when you talk about like Tatis, Machado, Bogarts, Darvish, et cetera. So, I mean, I don't know. Can you rely on that core putting you over the top without having the pieces around that group? Sounds wishful a little bit to me.
It does. It's the spring training, the start of spring training, first spring training game here versus the Dodgers in a couple of weeks. Like, that the roster is going to look dramatically different come just opening day. I feel like it almost has to, unless everything goes swimmingly, unless things go perfect in spring training. Jackson Merrill shows out, right? Another player that they, Graham Pauley or Jacob Marcy or whoever, right? Steps up and has a really good spring, fights his way into that opening day 26-man roster, right? No injuries. You don't have any issues with your rotation, whatever it's going to be after King, Musgrove, and Darvish, right? You could have a situation where you're going to see a lot of bullpen days this year because I think their bullpen is pretty good and deep. But that's only if everything goes 100% right. And when has it ever gone 100% right?
It's especially with the Padres. I mean, I don't think anyone should be counting on that. I think you make a good point of the bullpen, and Dennis wrote a little bit about that. Like, they've loaded up there. They think they can cover some additional innings there, but you have to be careful. I mean, it's still whatever the number is in your bullpen is the number. I mean, just because you've got a deeper bullpen or even a quote unquote better bullpen doesn't mean you can rely more heavily in terms of innings. If guys throw 80 innings, they throw 80 innings. You don't turn an 80 inning guy into 120 or a 50 into 75. Yeah. It's not really how baseball works. So yeah, I think you can cover some additional innings, but how many? Not hundreds, maybe dozens. But I mean, the big question, look around, whether it's locally or nationally, how do the Padres cover hundreds of innings that they're losing? Hundreds. Lugo, Waka, Snell. You're talking about good innings. These weren't just rando Noah Syndergaard innings. These are like, if you combine those numbers of those three players, just add them all up and divide it out. Those numbers are really good because of Snell at the top of it, but the other two weren't bad either. So you add up that group and you say, well, how do I make up for that? Michael King and a good bullpen? I need more.
What do you think is more important for their potential success this year? Musgrove, Darvish, and Michael King pretty much being like one of the best, like top three guys in baseball. Like, like as rotation go, I'm not saying they have to be like 1, 2, and 3 best pitchers in baseball, but like Darvish and Musgrove are pitching like their all-star years here in 2022, and Michael King takes that leap. Or is it the star players on offense getting back to form? I personally think that the front of the rotation with King, Musgrove, and Darvish is more important. Because
me too.
If you don't have pitching, you're fucked. And those guys have to be really good for you this year. Have to be.
I agree with you. And I would almost say, I'm not going to say that rotation spots 4 and 5 are more valuable than Darvish, Musgrove, King. That's not true, nor the point. But even if that 3 is like a top three in baseball, if that makes sense, top three in baseball. Let's say top 5. Let's be realistic. A top 5, top 3 in baseball. You can't have a bottom 5, 4 and 5 starter.
Right.
Like that'll cancel it out. Not fully, but to some extent. And then all of a sudden you're middle of the pack in your rotation. And the truth is, a year ago, their rotation ERA was probably pretty good, led by Blake Snell and Lugo and Waka, even with the disappointments of Darvish and Musgrove. So no matter how you slice it, even if your top 3 are really good, you need productivity out of 4 or 5, or your rotation won't be as good as it was a year ago because of everything that you've lost. So, I mean, the innings thing's a big deal. And you can tell me that they've got Vasquez and Brito and help coming and prospects. And I don't know, man. Vasquez and Brito don't equal Snell, Lugo, and Waka.
No, not even throw Michael King in there. You know,
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
everybody's high on Michael King, and I think that's a good. I mean, Michael King has some pretty like his potential is very high.
It's good. Mhm.
I think. But like again, I just being real, you know, he's never done it. So you got to see it first. Do I have faith that he can do it? Yeah, I do. But there's still a worry there of can he do it? Can he take that leap? Can he go from pitching 100 innings to 150 innings and still be, you know, very effective and give you exactly what you had in Michael Wacha last year? Like, can he do that?
I
Because
mean,
that's
maybe.
that's who
Yeah,
he's replacing in the
right.
rotation. So like
Maybe.
it's just there's a lot of things, man, that have to go right for this team. And if we're at the end of the day, we are discussing like Jackson Merrill more than the rotation, I think that'd be a good thing, right?
Merrill more than the rotation.
Like it's like
Yeah,
no.
probably.
My
Yeah.
point is it should not fall on Jackson Merrill. Like this team, win or lose, we shouldn't be like blaming potentially Jackson Merrill because he's in like a 2 for 30 slump. Because it shouldn't it should not fall on his shoulders or
I agree with that.
any other player's shoulders that are coming up through this farm system, going and playing a position they've potentially never played before. Because Preller can't go out and fill those positions because he fucked up last year with the CBT and they don't have any money to spend.
Right. If Merrill is a massive disappointment in the major leagues this year, that's all on AJ Preller
Well,
and
yeah.
none on Jackson Merrill.
No.
So if Merrill hits, that's all on Merrill. We'll
Yeah.
give Preller some credit. Hey, you called up the
Wow.
player at the right time. It felt
Exactly.
early, but if he doesn't hit, quote unquote, that's all on Preller because you're just going to say they're relying too heavily on a player that's not fully developed because of the issues that they put themselves in. Like this is something that AJ Preller did to himself.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, though, they haven't again fully. Again, it would be weird to rely on a non-fully developed farm if you have money to spend, yet you
Right.
don't spend it.
Right.
It feels right now like they have a little bit of money to spend, and it is only February 10th. So maybe before they rely on Merrill, they sign Jurickson Profar, and he spends the first 60 days in left field because they get to look at Merrill for a couple of weeks in the outfield and say this isn't a finished product, and we're asking way too much of this young player. So I think they still have a chance to address whatever their needs are, but that doesn't guarantee they will. They might see Merrill, Jim, for 2 weeks and say, wow, he hit 310 and he looked good in left field for 4 or 5 games. And you know what? If not now, then when? Let's take a leap of faith. But that doesn't mean just because he hits 310 for 13 games that he's going to hit a lick once the season starts.
Mm-hmm. This is
Or field the position well.
It's going to be a huge ask for whoever they put in left field in their system and center field. I mean, we're forgetting they don't have a center fielder. Like they don't have a center fielder or a left fielder or an everyday DH.
Right.
And their bench is also very thin.
And their first baseman is well below league average in Jake Cronenworth. And, you can say whatever you want about Jake. And, he's had a couple of nice seasons for the Padres, but he's also had some disappointing stretches like the last year and a half. And when they moved his position, they made him less valuable because you need to produce with some level of power playing first base. And that's not what happened a year ago. So you're asking for a big bounce back from him too.
He should not be a first baseman. Like that's another problem. You have a bunch of players playing out of position, and I mean the problem, and I don't want to keep harping on it, but it goes back to just as of right now how just a complete miss that Xander Bogaerts signing was from just a roster, just from a roster construction standpoint alone. It makes even less sense now. Like at the time, you're thinking to yourself, they are in go for it World Series mode. If the players performed last year and didn't all just collectively suck, then yeah, it's probably good. But then what happens after? Like after, like it's not just a 1-year deal for Xander. It's a freaking 11-year deal. So
It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, if you're looking at just the intermediate right now, last year, yeah, okay, going for it, push over the top. Maybe this guy's the final piece, right? He's a superstar, all-star player, right? He's been there, won 2 World Series. Like maybe this is the piece we need to be pushed over the top. Well, it failed miserably. And with that being failed miserably, you are now, seeing the consequences of your own actions with horrible roster construction, no money to spend, and putting young guys in positions they've never played before because you got a giant black hole eating up a lot of things financially and roster-wise at shortstop.
Spot on. I mean, I hope he bounces back, but if he doesn't, it just creates more of a magnifying glass on that signing, a December ago or whenever it was here in San Diego, a year and a quarter ago. I'll run it back. Thank you for the super chat, guys. If you're here, please subscribe, and thank you for the super chats. Click the $sign below the chat box. We interact with every single one of them.
At 120 on a Saturday night.
This is awesome. Yeah. By the way, program announcement real quick, because some of you probably aren't aware. We've mentioned this, but only in passing. We will do live watch parties of the Korea series, right?
I'll be doing it. John might be still sleeping or dealing with the job.
Well, might be traveling with San Diego State for the NCAA tournament. Knock on wood, hopefully.
Oh, so if you're in your hotel room, that's perfect.
It'll be easier. Yeah, I'll make it work.
Especially if you're on the East Coast, 6 a.m. That's easy for you.
It'll be nice. So join us March 20th. I think it's March 20th at 3:05 a.m. or is it March 21st? I don't know. With the time change, like what is it in the States? I think it's March 20th at 3:05 a.m. and then March 21st. I think at 3:05 a.m. I think that's right. Anyway, join us at 3 a.m. We are your companion to the game. So you can watch and you can have us. Turn the volume down, turn us up. I don't even know if these games are locally televised. I think they're nationally televised. So who cares about that? Turn their volume down, turn our volume up. We'll be with you for as long as those games take, from 3 to 6:20 in the morning on March 20th and March 21st. So be here, subscribe. We'll be doing that for you guys coming up in just about 5 or 6 weeks. Let me get to this from Run It Back, who says our bullpen is going to be lights out this year. And I think that's probably a decent way to look at it on paper right now. I think the bullpen is a strength. Don't forget, we have Waldron and Avila to eat innings too. I would love to have Lorenzen here in San Diego. Yeah, there are guys. There are names. Again, do I have some level of skepticism? I do, because I saw Lugo Waka. We were skeptical maybe there as well heading into the year, but I saw Lugo Waka and Snell all overperform. Every single one of them overperform a year ago. And now I'm going to need 2-3 guys to overperform again. And, I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that happens.
Yeah, the rotation and the bullpen, the arms, like as a whole collective is right now my biggest concern going into the season, even without a left fielder or a center fielder. Like I'm banking on Manny and Tatis having big years. I just am. And I'm going to bank on Xander having a bounce back year because he's a professional. And I'm banking on Ha-Seong Kim having equally the same year this year as he did last year. But I can't bank on Michael King doing what you hope him to do. I just can't. I got to see it. Same thing with Darvish. I mean, Darvish has been really bad 2 of the 3 years here. Not been good. And you just also have to pray and hope that Joe Musgrove is fully healthy as well. So the rotation and the bullpen, while I like a lot of the pieces in the bullpen, I really do. You hope that like they actually perform and they're not going to get overworked because of the lack of depth in their rotation. And that to me is the biggest concern for this season.
Yeah, it was 2021, I want to say, where they approached a major league record for innings pitched from a bullpen.
And it was a disaster.
It was good for half a year, and then they were overused and taxed in the second half of the year. And you had guys like Jake Arrieta and Vince Velasquez pitching in the second half of the year, and that overly exposed the bullpen that had been taxed. And you like history will repeat itself if you don't learn from it. Like I watched 2021. That cannot be your year-long strategy. Hey, let's have a really strong bullpen and make up for a weak back end rotation. That doesn't fly. And guys that threw 60 innings last year should not be asked to throw 95. That's not a good formula. You're asking for guys to get hurt or be ineffective in the second half of the year. So I'm not saying that is their formula. Maybe they, I don't know. Maybe Drew Thorpe is lightning in a bottle and pitches the second half of the year. Maybe Matt Waldron turns a corner. Maybe Pedro Avila. Maybe Burrito. Maybe Vasquez. Someone can be good in that group. Someone can be more than effective in that group, but I don't know who or how. I guess.
Right. You're going to need that, though. Like, you are going to need, of the names you just mentioned, one of those guys to step up. You just have to. You can't put this all on Musgrove and Darvish's shoulders, because that's not fair to them. And two, those guys are shaky as well. Like, they're not standing on some solid ground here as far as, they're going to go out there and give you an A season, like a grade, letter grade, like an A season, like potential all-stars type of season. You don't know that. So you're going to need like one of those dudes you just mentioned there to step up in a big way. And I mean, that's sports. That's what sports is. Like, hey, time for you. Your time is now. You got to step up. And if you don't step up, then we got problems. It's not their fault. It's AJ's fault, because, you asked a guy to perform, didn't perform. Well, that's on you, buddy.
I hate to be the guy to do this from a karma perspective, but this was sent to me from Underdog Fantasy. Hey, we can't even see the middle fingers that Jim is throwing up right now because this is on screen. This is for our viewers tonight until the Super Bowl starts tomorrow. New customer special. You get a free pick'em from Underdog Fantasy if you use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Click the link in the description down below, or go to UnderdogFantasy.com or in the Underdog Fantasy app. If you use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, you're getting two things tonight or Sunday before the game. You're getting a 100% deposit match up to $100 by using promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. It's the easiest and best way to play fantasy sports, by the way. Underdog Fantasy. You're also getting a free pick'em. They will give you the Mahomes half total yard pick'em if you sign up right now. Between now and the start of the Super Bowl, they're giving you half of a win right now, because if Patrick Mahomes throws for 1 yard, you've got a winner. I feel good about it happening even against that Niners defense. Use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. If Patrick Mahomes throws for a yard, you are halfway to a winner in pick'em. And again, you will have your deposit matched up to $100 if you use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. I might leave this up all night because I can see Jim in the backstage, and this is what he looks like. Go take advantage of that offer. Enjoy the game. I mean, I know Jim will be enjoying the game. I know he'll be enjoying the game. That's one thing he'll be doing tomorrow, enjoying the game. Again, promo code PODSWRAP, UnderdogFantasy.com or the Underdog Fantasy app. What else? I'm trying to think. What were some of the other names we heard of in the last 48 hours, Jim? There was the Jarren Duran possibility with the Red Sox. Kenley Jansen, which makes no sense unless you're tying him to Duran. No. Or the Red Sox are eating a huge portion of the $16 million he's owed in 2024.
Even Duran's a risk too, because it's like defensively he sucks.
He's had a nice year,
He had a nice year last year, but then the Red Sox would be selling very high on a guy who's doesn't have a track record, and he has one good season. And if they are saying the only way you get him is if we have to take Kenley Jansen, no thanks.
Right. I mean, I guess if they'll give you Jansen, if it's one of those things where he's owed 16 and they'll spend, they'll pay 13 of it. Yeah, okay. But I mean, I thought you spent the offseason addressing the hater loss with Suarez, Go, Matsui. Where does Jansen fit into that dynamic?
Yeah, I don't know.
And what does it say about Suarez?
No confidence.
Yeah, I mean, he has one career save. So you have one career save out of those three guys. Think about it. I mean, Matsui and Go have tons of saves, but never in the majors.
That's another big, question mark too, is Robert Suarez, the back end of your bullpen, who will presumably get the first crack when the season starts at closing out the games.
I would think.
There's just, dude, the more you think about it, John, like they need a lot of things to go their way this year, a lot to even get to maybe just 85 wins. Like, think about that. To say that a team needs this all to go their way just to potentially get to like 85, 86 wins. What does that tell you about their team?
Well, that's why Pacoda, which is Baseball Prospectus's projections, have them at 79.7 wins. It's why Circa put out its win totals yesterday. It has them at 81. It's
Love
why
Circa.
MGM has them at 80. Yeah, we do love. I think MGM has them at 80 or 80 and a half. So like everyone is sitting between 79 and a half wins and 81 wins right now for this team. Why? Because that's what the projections would lead you down that path.
Right.
And again, that means there's some fluctuation there. You can win 5 more, you could lose 5 more. And we've seen with the Padres, like last year, projected to win 94, they win 82. Or I mean, so there's fluctuation, but the projections are like real. It's not because anyone's mad. Like remember we had that caller, that text, like Vegas is mad because the Padres didn't sign Ohtani and they massively underperformed last year. I'm like, no, I don't think Vegas is mad. I think they're in the business of making money.
Right. Yeah.
So
look,
like,
I'll tell you one thing though. I am extremely excited about this season from a intrigue standpoint because there is so much unknown here with this team this year.
right.
Like going into last year, it felt like, okay, yes, they're making the postseason, they're going to make a run, and the complete opposite happened. They just sucked. But like this year, there's a lot of unknowns on this team, a lot. And that's the exciting, intriguing part about it, because I can't wait to see which way it goes. I can't wait to see if it works, and that would be freaking awesome, or if it just blows up in their face, and then we have to have like real adult conversations here about the future of, this, organization.
I think Chad makes an interesting point, which is I'm excited they won't have the pressure on their backs. I mean, clearly they had a lot of it a year ago and it didn't pan out well. And I don't know what percent of it not panning out well was on quote unquote expectations. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, people are excited. They're going to draw a lot of fans, but I don't feel as if they're going to have the weight of the world on their backs to start the year. Nobody thinks they're going to win the division. Last year, people thought they would win the division. Last year, people thought they would get to the World Series or even win it. How many people, if you're being truthful, are saying this is a team capable of winning a division and or a team capable right now of winning the World Series? I mean, that's wishful stuff. It's possible. We've watched sports. It can happen.
Right.
But I don't think there's a lot of people, including Padres fans, that are sitting here on February 10th saying, this is the year we win the World Series. Again, it's possible. You get in, you could do it. But I'm just saying I just feel like the expectations have changed. 1 year, what a difference it's made.
Oh my God. From this time last year. Yeah. Big difference.
Yeah. Last year was like, go win the World Series,
Yeah. You just do your job. That's it. Manny, be an all-star. Tatis, be an MVP candidate.
Right.
Xander, be consistent. Don't lead the league in ground into double plays and be one of the worst players when it comes to runners in scoring position. Do the little things. Take the extra 90 feet. Hit, when a guy's at second and no outs, get him to third so you can get him in. Do the little things to get the job done. Don't always try to play hero ball, and execute, and we'll see what happens.
Have a good April,
Yes, start out fast. That'd be nice.
Yeah,
that would ease a lot of people's tension. Here it would ease everybody's worry about, oh my God, Jackson Merrill's in left and Jacob Marcy's in center. What Matt Waldron's pitching every 5th day. What's happening here?
Right, like Chad says, this time last year, Tatis had already called a shot. I mean, it's true. I mean, there were a lot of expectations from before the start of spring training. This year, it's like, who's the owner?
Be real?
Is there a fan fest? What's the team?
Yeah.
Who's on it? Like last year, the questions were answered. Whoa, Tatis is back, and they went to the NLCS. They're loaded. This year, it's like, they haven't even completed their outfield, and we don't know who the owner is. And they're projected to win 23 games fewer than the Dodgers. So it's just a little different. And by a little different, I mean it's a lot different.
When's the last time for a team that wasn't going through a full rebuild where they just got rid of everybody, went from 1 year being projected to win 96 games to the next year projected to win 79?
Maybe like the St. Louis Cardinals. They're always projected to win like 90, and they fell off a cliff. I don't know what the projections look like this upcoming year. I think mid 80s. But yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's a very good point.
I mean, I'm just talking about from 1 year to the next. Like, hey, this team is projected to win the World Series,
right?
And the next year,
79 wins.
79 wins.
It's a good point. You're right. Without a complete teardown fire sale. That's a good point. Guys, if you are here, obviously we're about a month into the new year. Maybe you're looking to get healthier. Baseball season is starting. Spring is eternal, so to speak. Get healthier with our friends at Aura. Their co-founder, Will, is a huge Padres fan and a San Diegan. Aura has offices right here in San Diego. This is an amazing company. All of their supplements are plant-based supplements like the probiotic I take every single day for digestion, heart health, mental health. Great reasons to take a probiotic. You should be taking one. They have pre-workout supplements. They have proteins for after workouts. They have omega-3 oils. If you're taking a fish oil, you should be taking the omega-3 oil that's plant-based from Aura. They have sleep pills, immunity pills, and much more. Okay, it's an amazing company. They support our work. They have for the last 2 years. We've been taking their products for the last 2 years. I love their probiotic. So make sure to check them out. You want to get healthier. You want to support this channel. You want to support your family. With the new year here, with baseball season around the corner, check them out. Click the link in the description down below or go to ora.organic.
Yeah, go there right now. They have everything you need to live a healthy lifestyle. They got protein powder for post-workouts. They have pre-workouts. They have vitamins for everyday needs to live a healthy life. So go to Aura, www.ora.organic. Pick up some supplements, and you'll thank us later.
What do you think? Maybe tomorrow we do it again at, I don't know, 3:30, 3:35 in the afternoon, something. It's a slow Sunday. But pitchers and catchers report. Is 3:30 a good time?
Dude.
4? You want to talk about it for a minute? You can talk about it.
I don't even know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. Like,
well, if they win the Super Bowl, you'll be very happy.
Like, I don't know what I meant, like before the game starts, like as the game kicks off, right?
Yeah,
in the game. 2019, I blacked out. I was like, I know
they had the lead.
Because I'm like, as soon as in 2019 Mahomes throws his second interception, I'm like, holy shit, they're gonna win. And then, they lost and it was a disaster. But like, I don't know, dude. I'm gonna be freaking out. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm freaking out. I'm gonna have like out of body experiences. I'm gonna be doing things and saying things that I don't even know if I'll even remember I said them. It's
good luck, Aaron. Just you and Aaron, right?
She's like, can we just have fun tomorrow? And I'm like,
no, there's no fun.
There's
none of it is fun unless they just win.
I'm like, this is only gonna be fun if they're winning by 40. Okay.
I know.
Or if they win. Like, it is just being a sports fan, dude. It's a lot.
I mean, let's see. I feel like they're due to get off to a decent start. The reason I say it, they didn't against the Packers. They didn't against the Lions. I feel like maybe they're due to score first or like have a
nice
10-3 lead.
All I know is the game is like, I'm already projecting how the game is going to start, and then you just got to go from there. Chiefs will get the ball. They'll go down and score. Niners will be trailing, and you got to respond like that. That's how the game's going to start. I feel like.
I know you have prepared yourself for that. You've been saying that.
Because the Chiefs have scored on their first drive in their last 8 postseason games. So, and Andy Reid's going to cook something up, and I just want to see a tweet say Kyle Shanahan is cooking right now. It's all I want to see. And if I see that, I'll feel good.
Yeah, unless the tweet is accompanied by a picture of him like making an omelet.
Then we got a problem. Or like making like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but like putting bologna in it or something.
I would guess I could have put it. I would guess the majority of people are rooting for the Niners over the Chiefs. A couple of reasons. We're in California, so I think you have Niners fans probably in the West more than you'd have Chiefs fans in the West. The other thing is the Chiefs have won a lot, and the Niners haven't in recent history. Last 3 decades. So I would think that, well, Californians, I think general public, I think more people would be pulling for the Niners. The Chiefs, we've seen the Chiefs do this. They've won 2 Super Bowls in the last few years. So I mean, I feel like the Niners have backers. Not that is overly significant. I would think the Niners might have a better than 50% of the crowd pulling for them. Again, the Chiefs have won 2 of them in recent years.
Says that there will be close to 60% of ticket sales are Niner fans.
It makes sense. I mean, again, how far is Vegas from Northern California? Not very.
Easiest flight ever.
And drivable. If you had to, so you'll have people that drive, you'll have people that fly in. I think you get a lot of wealthy people.
Vegas has been taken over by Niners fans. I know that for a fact.
Right.
And there's also there's also a little of like, Niners haven't won in 30 years. Chiefs have won 2 of the last 4.
Yeah.
There's a maybe a little for the Chiefs fans. You're like, okay, this could be a start of a dynasty. Obviously, they're gonna be freaking out as well, but like this is start of a dynasty for them if they win tomorrow. Or at least
it is a dynasty.
Or you cement yourself as a dynasty. Yep. And for the Niners, it's, can they just get over that hump? Can they finally win one? Can they, the last 5 times they've been in the postseason have all ended in just utter, not 5. The last 7. The last 7 times been in the postseason have been all disasters. Like disaster.
Well, again, I'd sleep easy tonight knowing that it's not like it's Mahomes versus Purdy. Oh, wait, it is actually Patrick Mahomes against Brock Purdy. That's what makes this all the more remarkable. If the Niners pull it off, I also think it shuts a lot of people up. But it's an amazing quarterback matchup when you think about it. I mean, in the annals of quarterbacking, Patrick Mahomes is going to go down as, arguably a top 2. And we'll see about Purdy. If he wins tomorrow, that can change not change the trajectory, but set him on a trajectory.
Just don't text me during the game.
I will.
I know you will.
Turn your phone off. You won't.
I won't
do that.
I am T. Kelly. Positive thoughts. Niners win tomorrow. Positive thoughts.
Look at this. Niner fan Fernando Tatis Jr. Unless he likes the Chiefs. Anyway, if you want to pick up some Padres gear before this, what's that?
T. Kelly's like, come on, Jim, think positive. Try to visualize Chase Young actually sacking somebody. How about just actually tackling anybody?
Right.
How about giving effort? That'd be cool.
All right, guys, join us on Monday. We'll be talking about pitchers and catchers, plus potentially the Super Bowl. On Monday, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, free iHeartRadio app. Find John and Jim
Padres third base coach on Monday with us, by the way.
Yes, Tim Leeper will join us. That's right. Great call, Tim Leeper. Leap will join us on Monday, time TBD. Join us on Monday at 3. Find us on YouTube, free iHeartRadio app, or San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for hanging out live or on replay. Please support our partners. Again, our partner FOCO, gear up for the season. Click the link pinned in the top of the chat or down below. Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance for your insurance needs, our title sponsor. Underdog Fantasy. Remember, you have between now and the start of the Super Bowl to get that free pick'em. Plus, they will double your first deposit up to $100. Use promo code PADSWRAP. That is PADSWRAP. And if you're looking to get healthier, ORA.organic, plant-based nutritional supplements, ORA.organic. Thank you, guys. Saturday night edition. I'm sure a lot of you are watching this on Sunday. For Nervous Jim,
I'm so nervous.
I am unnervous John. And this has been the wrap-up show. Thanks, guys.